We invite you to stay tuned for the live broadcast of the Wednesday evening Bible study of the Mayfield Drive Baptist Church, located at 271 Mayfield Drive, Smyrna, Tennessee. We will now join the service.
All right, we're back again with our Wednesday evening Bible study, Church History Through the Trail of Blood, and this is part number 7. By way of introduction, in the last part, we considered the church located at Smyrna, and we found that this church was a church that is represented by persecutions. When Jesus had John to write to this church, he informed them that they would have tribulations for 10 days. And in our study of these scriptures, we saw that Jesus was referring to 10 different time periods. And so this is one reason why we think that this church represented a certain time period, such as 100 to 312 A.D. We considered a few of these martyrs in our previous study. In number 6, Polycarp, Justin Martyr, and Ignatius, being 3 of them. But before continuing on with our study with the Trail of Blood, I want to take a closer look at the persecution that arose from the beginning of the church at Jerusalem and down through these time periods. In my opinion, and this is my opinion, call it Robert's theology if you want to, but this is just my opinion. I look at three different, not the same as here, but 3 different periods of persecution that has taken place. The first of these is the beginning with the stoning of Deacon Stephen. The second being during the Dark Ages. And then the third being in the beginning of the new colonies that founded the New World, that later became known as the United States of America. Now, to me, these are 3 major time frames in which persecution was brought about. This first period that we're considering now was started by the Jews, continued by the Roman Empire. The Dark Ages was started by the Catholic Church and continued on. And then we find it was maybe not as intense in America as it was in many other parts of the world in the other 2 persecutions, but there was persecution nonetheless at the very beginning of our nation, the United States. So this will be a look at the first part of the persecution, while the other 2 will be considered at a later time when we get to those time frames, and we'll consider those. So for this part, I've consulted with the following historical records. Brother Bernie, I was able to find these and download them. Free.
One of them is like 2,000 pages, but it's
The first one is the Bloody Theater, or Martyr's Mirror of Defenseless Christians. A fellow by the name of Thieleman J. van Broek, translated from the Dutch language by Joseph L. Schroom, illustrated by Jan Lukin. Number 2, A History of the Baptists by John T. Christian. 3, Baptist Succession, A Handbook of Baptist History by D.B. Ray. A Concise History of Foreign Baptists by G.H. Orchard. A General History of the Baptist Denomination, David Benedict. History of the Baptists, Thomas Armitage. Compendium of Baptist History, J.A. Shackelford. Fox's Book of Martyrs, John Fox. And then Mosham's Church History. So, with all of these, that is a lot of material. But fortunately, each of these historians breaks things down, and so it's not difficult to find. If they have covered it, it's not difficult to find the high points. So, beginning with the church at Jerusalem. Some historians believe that the persecution began with the Roman Empire, while others believe that actually started with the Jews, with the members of the church at Jerusalem. Still others believe the persecution started with the death of John the Baptist. So you have 3 different viewpoints there. Regardless, it was started by the Jews. Regardless, this first period was started by the Jews and continued by the Roman Empire. Now, there is no leave off of one time and leaving off of the Jews and taking off of the Roman Empire, because they're all mingled together many times. It continued until the time of Constantine in 313 AD. So now we're going to look specifically. Many times historian, and you'll see a few mentions in this where no names are given because maybe there are too many, or maybe the names are unknown. But the first one we'll look at is John the Baptist, son of Zacharias and Elizabeth. He was beheaded in the castle of Machaerus at the command of King Herod Antipas in AD 32. And we could probably say that this was the official start of this first time period of persecution.
Brother Joe, wasn't that Herod, that was the son of the one who called for the, wasn't that the son of the one who called for the death of the babies in Bethlehem?
Yes.
And I think the Bible said he was worse than his father.
Yes. Yes. All right, Stephen. One of the 7 deacons at the church of Jerusalem, stoned without the gate of the city by the libertines in AD 34, shortly after the death of Jesus. James, the son of Zebedee, put to death with a sword by Herod Agrippa in Jerusalem, AD 45.